now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of light. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats in rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. Greetings, fearless family. It's Saturday night. And I'm Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme, right here. Every Saturday night on Truth Frequency Radio. And I'm here with my etheric translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
I'm a very excited person right now to be here. But before I get overexcited, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Chris and Cherie. Love you guys so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. Not like this. I'd be screaming like from the corner. I'd have a little shine box. And I'd be standing there like, hey, over here, listen to me. And I'd be like, yo, shut up. So thank you guys so much, and I love you. You pushed this journey forward full throttle day one. So I'm super happy. We'd like to thank
Dana for the beautiful gifts that she sent us. Dana, Michigan. We'd like to say thank you.
Definitely thank you. So beautiful. So many wonderful pieces to the altar and the collection that were so necessary and so unique.
They're just thoughtful, very thoughtful.
All of these gifts we share with each other and the crystals and the things that we do, it just charges them with this positive, right? Like this hyper positive energy.
Oh, we have a couple of people holding ceremony
tonight. Shout outs to the brave light warriors going under their ayahuasca missions or their mushroom missions. Shout outs to all the shaman doing it right. You guys are brave. You are all brave, and I'm impressed. Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about that on the show tonight.
Okay.
That's not for the show. That's for the group. Shout outs to my fearless family. I love you guys so much. I found a new definition of love in this last few days. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And so many different things have been happening through these times. Let me finish, do one more shout out, and then we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, do what you have to do.
No, I know. I don't like doing ads and commercials and stuff, but this is kind of important. So I'm going to be on, and as well, if you're welcome, if you're going to be there as well, on June 27th, 6 p.m. Eastern, for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I'm going to join East Coast Mom, West Coast Son. Okay? It's a Facebook Live page.
That's going to be fun.
And I'll have the links provided across the board on the Fearless page, on the Fearless group, the Fearless family, and my page. I'll try to get it up on the TFR stuff as well. And we're going to be like really going deep with the mission. This is what it's all about at this point. That's why I'm like stop and start tonight. I'm like, man, damn, there's so much to talk about, and the mission and this, and we're getting everywhere now. We're getting in the cracks and crevices, and we're cleaning them out, right? We're re-uploading the new program, the new way, right? And it's everywhere. And now we're going to join others in their arena, and we're going to share that information, and we're going to pass it around, and we're going to see what information they have, and we're going to share that together. And that togetherness of sharing the information, the true information, we can build a bigger picture for the road ahead.
That's beautiful. While you're wearing your Fearless Tribe t-shirt.
Don't forget, the Fearless Tribe t-shirts are available at IamWeAreFearless.com. 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 The artists get 50% of everything that you purchase, and just for the next week, it's still the Egypt 2018. Anything that's purchased in the Egypt 2018 section for Chris and Cherie will be donated to the costs of their trip. So we haven't hit them off yet, but at the end of this month, we will be doing that. So pick up your, there should be less bakish and more hashish t-shirts. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. So check them out at IamWeAreFearless.com.
I was away with my family, as many of you know, last week. We were at the Jersey Shore, and I wore my 2 Fearless t-shirts all week long because they were so comfortable. And I told Frank, I washed it and then wore it again yesterday. I said, Frank, I love these t-shirts. And I'm not saying that because it's our website. I think I'm just saying it because they're really cool t-shirts.
Yeah, it's becoming like...
They're so comfortable.
Yeah. I listen, it was funny. Some of the things that I'm proud of myself.
Oh, yes.
In the midst of the crazy...
Frank has... Yes.
All right, let's start this way. Let's just start it.
Yes.
All right, you ready? Okay, so today... I took my t-shirt out of the drawer. I was looking into the drawer. I was like, yo, I got an important kind of thing to do. I have to go into the post office to get... pick something up. They said they couldn't deliver.
And this is not our post office where the lady now is in love with Frank because he threw so much love at her that
we did a meditation and sent love at the lady that was mean to me.
Yes, so Paula better be careful.
And now she's talking to me.
Yes, she loves Frank. She loves him. Like Man Candy loves him. And now he had to go to a new post office.
Wait, so
and start all over again.
It's the only one in the Bronx that's open on Saturday, by the way, in this entire area. So I have no choice to go here.
That.
So I get, I'm like, I'm wearing the Fearless, and I put it on. I'm sporting a new look. I got a mustache with the goatee. It's just different, very Doctor Strange looking. And I was wearing the red shirt, the red sweatshirt. So I was feeling like that. I was very awkward, very strange. So my mother's like, hey, what's up? Just rocking the new stuff. And I'm like, well, actually, the mustache is the only thing that's new. I got the Fearless tee, though, on, and I'm doing my thing. But I'm like, get in. We got to go to the post office. And she's like, ugh. Now, I've been in this place where my mother was like waiting outside once, and she came in, and a fight broke out, like a fist fight, right by the doorway, but in a little bit. So as somebody was coming in, they could get caught in the fight. And she walked in, and I'm like all the way up front, and I just look at her like, get out. And she's like, what's taking so long? Whoa. And then she just runs. And the cats are at it again. So I don't have fun going to this place. And they love to ticket everybody everywhere. Okay, let me get to my point. So I've been practicing mantras, right? So I have a couple that I do. So I do the dome mantra, which is protection. You say it 108 times. So I started doing it right at the front door because the line was out the door. And I'm like, wow, I got to get my stuff and get out of here, right? So dome, dome, dome. I hear, shh, no dome. I'm like, no dome? But I got to protect myself. They're like, no, today I'm going to try a new one. So I'm like, what? So they're like Wu-Tang. So I'm like, oh, I'm always down with Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing up with, right? Yep. So they're like, cash moves everything around me. Cream. get the money, dollar, dollar bill, y'all. So that's one of their hooks for the song, right? So Paula's looking at me like, what does that mean?
No,
but the cream is the new word.
Yeah.
So they were like, say it. So I'm like, cream, 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 cream. Now, this place was violent from the moment I walked in the front door. There were people yelling and screaming. There were children going berserk. I always come back bad.
Bruised and battered
from these events, right? Those of you that are empathetic to the entire universe understands that just stepping into the hellhole you call the post office for 5 minutes could ruin 2 weeks of your time. So I'm like, all right, cream, cream. So I've been practicing mantras with Kali, right? So people like, oh, you're bringing Kali out. And I'm like, well, her energy, not her. Like, she's not I don't think you understand what Kali actually is. Right? It's a feminine energy that removes the negative, right? So when you're faced with Kali, the being, she comes forth from the energy. So the arms of her come out of the back of me. And as I'm going cream, the kids are fighting and people are screaming. This one lady's taking up everybody's time. It happens. The kids just shut up. Everyone starts packing in. Dead silence. All that violent feeling, that crazy, I got to get out of here, when you know you're not getting anywhere, so shut up. You're going to be in here like everyone else. Act like a human being. Cream, cream. Now I'm doing this in my head loud, right? It's just, so I start telling myself, oh, what about all this? And what about all that? And I start going, you have nothing to say here. Cream, cream, until I had dead silence mentally, right? Everyone just started flowing. And when I stopped the flow of the cream, right, it started to go instantly back up.
Because you changed the vibration in the room. You raised the vibration.
I raised it to the point where people just quietly handled their business and bounced. Now, I had to do this the entire time. I was in there for 45 minutes. The whole time I was doing this, I thought I was in there for 10 minutes. Literally, I was in there for like a long time, but did not feel at any point like this was long and drawn out. I couldn't put that together, but I did notice the guy standing in the back of the line. I made someone leave. He was like coughing and he looked really gross and really crappy looking, like he was a heroin junkie or something. And he just looked sickly. And I kept looking at him because he kept looking at me. And I just look at him and think, cream. He kept turning his head to the left and he'd cough again, look at me, turn his head to the left, cough, and then he just walked out. And I thought to myself,
attachment.
Yeah, as the arms were moving behind me, anything, it was like one arm was telling the kids, quiet, soothing, quiet. The lady that was just, the people go to the post office, come correct, you're in your underwear basically in the Bronx. They show up in like pajamas, their hair on, like they look terrible. And then they're yelling because they brought 5 kids with them. And then you didn't fill out the form. I'm like, you're the problem here. It's not the guy behind the counter that's moving slow. It's the guy that's moving behind the counter slow because you showed up unprepared completely and you're screaming. And you have 5 kids yelling and screaming, right? When this occurred, I walked out of that place, got into my car, was still doing it, told my mother what happened. I was like, she just talked over me. She didn't really pick up on it. And I was like, you're not going to understand. Dropped her off, came back home. The parking space was still open. I just pulled right up. Like there was no traffic, no time wasted. Everything got done. You know how long it's been since something like that's happened?
Yes, I do. I know exactly how long. Because you were Frankie hold a grudge, okay? You used to hold a grudge or be upset about something for 2 weeks. And then we got it down.
Shout outs to the chat room people and the FearLess family. Forget about dropping a crystal in there. I want to walk in and the place changes.
But you did
Done.
that. You managed that.
Yes. These are the tests that are arriving. You have no choice. You're going to be there. I told you the story about how we domed our way through jury duty.
Yeah, I was here for that. Yeah.
By the way, congratulations, Paula, for episode 102. I just feel blessed that we're here.
I love the new setup. Well, I don't know if Frank talked about this on last week's show because I was away with my family, and
I don't think it was set up yet.
Oh, you didn't do it yet. Oh, so Frank, we wanted to hang this TV, and I know most of you know about that, hang the TV on the wall. But the wall that the TV originally was going to go on is not not sturdy enough for the TV. So Frank ended up rearranging the living room, and everything looks so beautiful. And he changed the energy in the room. So when I came home from vacation,
the feng shui is completely different.
I came into the room, and just the energy is so high in here now, and everything is flowing. It's like flowing in the correct direction, and it feels amazing. So we're doing the show, and the desk is in a different area, and it's just so much nicer this way.
Yeah, it's
really
like complete rock and roll style. Everything's up out of the way.
It's becoming
a command.
It's so nice.
So we're manifesting the ability to do things. So it's not just, well, Frank is fixing things. If you guys remember me talking earlier in earlier episodes, my father was the type of dude. He was all right at times, but he'd go, "Hey, dummy, who taught you to do that like that?" And I'd go, "Well, nobody." Right? Well, what do you mean nobody showed you? You're 18 or you're 15 or what are you, dummy? My uncle and I, my ex-uncle, I used to look up to this guy. And when I came back home from being away for a long time, I saw him. He just happened to be here, and I came up to say, "What's up?" And he called me a meathead and a dummy. And I almost beat his ass on that spot. And he left. I said, "I will throw you the beating of your life. Get in your car and leave right now." I've never been so let down by heroes in my life. So when you're beat with that over the head, you're afraid, as Paula would say, is to put a nail in the wall.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm like, "Frank, just try it." And Frank would, in the beginning, he would resist. We would actually
sweat
fight
and
about
cry
it.
and bug out.
And then I looked at him and I said, "Frank, if you make a mistake, we'll fix the wall. What's the worst thing that could happen?" And then he's like, "Well, I never thought of it that way." And I was like, "Frank, I'm not into perfection. If it's a little crooked, it's a little crooked. Who cares?"
Now, mind you, my room has always looked like a boy's room. Any room I've ever been in has turned into, at one point or another, a version of like an 18-year-old guy's room or a bachelor pair to some weird stuff. There's always like toys and weird things hanging around. It's like I had one person walk into an apartment of mine and say, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Get out. I don't walk into your place and go, 'Hey, what are you, a dummy?' Like, because you have whatever. Like, that's rude that you just did that. Now you could leave." So I'm always nervous that I'll turn it into that because I don't really want that. I just don't know more.
It doesn't look like that. It looks beautiful.
This is my point. Like, we are not in our comfort zone. And during these examples of the tests that they keep getting thrown at me.
Well, look how good the TV came out. I mean, you talk about it.
Well, it was an intense test.
All of our fearless families send positive vibes, and the TV looks great on the wall. If it didn't, we would paint the wall. What are you going to do? It's, what are you going to do?
I want to do a special shout out. There's a whole group of you in my fearless family, and you know who you are. I wouldn't be here broadcasting tonight if it wasn't for your generosities. So just remember that. It takes everyone's help sometimes. It took talking to another shaman in the UK just to go over my measurements one more time quickly, and they're not even doing measurements in our measurement thing, right?
The guy help,
right? So I just gave him a basic overview, and he sounds like he's a carpenter,
Andrew, right?
And he's going, "Dude, you sound like you come to work for me right now. You do a better job than." And when I showed him the pictures, he went, "Oh." And I go, "And it only took this amount of time." And he was like, "What? First time?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And then he's like, "Okay, so remember this. Measure twice, drill once." Right? So now I'm confident in doing this, just like my fear of sharks has been rebuked.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a family in the sea. I feel like there's nothing I can't put on the wall.
But there isn't.
But wait. I went and I conquered the post office.
You did.
Wait,
that
our relationship is
you
fantastic.
Now. That lady, I don't know what's going to happen.
My cats love me. This is progression.
It is progression.
When we first started the show, I was worried about the cats and who loved who, and I've never had this before, and now it's just upgrades across the board. It's an I can do attitude. Those are the tests that we conquer, and then you realize, dude, you just went to the post office. You hung a picture on the wall. You want me to pat you on the back or give you a reach around? Which is it you want? But let me tell you something. Internally, I need that. I need the pat on the back and the rub. I'll do it myself, but it's nice to have those around me that will help and say, hey, that's a good job. Because you know what? Now I'm not scared.
But what did I say to you when I first met you? All you need is one person to believe you can do something, and you miraculously can do it. All you need is one person to believe
That's
you can do
right.
it. Okay? So I was the one person who believed you could put a nail in the wall. And now look, we have a beautiful apartment and everything is hung.
And I tell everyone I speak to one-on-one, if you need that one person to believe that you can get this done, no ayahuasca, no DMT necessary, yes through meditation, yes through love, and yes through other examples. Yes, psychedelics will enhance it and send it on its way, but I will tell you right there, just like you said.
But you're 100% right. You don't need any plant medicine to do this. This is just through meditation. These things have been happening since you started.
The plant medicines are an essential tool.
They are. But if you don't want to go that route,
do not have to.
Being part of these meditations have changed,
I tell them,
changed people's lives.
I believe in you. I love you.
But that's
right? And they're like, well, and I go, you're looking for the love from that one person, yes? And they're like, well, yeah, I love you too. And I'm like, I love you. Now there's two of us.
Right.
And I love Paula. And
right.
because
and
I love you, Paula loves you.
When you join the group, you become friends with everybody.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
supportive.
You're like, wait, I didn't know this could happen. Shout outs to everybody in the FearLess TFR chat.
Yes, and all the new members that have joined just in the last week.
We went from
a
handful of people to like 280 rotating people to a core group of like 35 that just work all the time.
I said to one of our family last week, this is where you go to ask for what you need.
All right, so we did an abundance ceremony.
Yeah.
And what happened?
And everyone
started receiving abundance.
Abundance in one form or another. And again,
explain it though.
You have to realize when you're asking for abundance, you're thinking it's coming 1, 2, maybe 3 different ways. You don't realize that the universe has a million ways it can send you abundance. It doesn't always have to be a check in the mail. And there are people who have joined in these meditations and they're just receiving abundance of whatever it is that they need. Sometimes it is. It's just a little understanding, you know?
Yeah, abundance comes in a lot of different forms, right? Because you could be abundantly with money. You could have abundance in money and have no love.
And no friends.
So what good is it?
But you know, I mean, people have been, and I like that people have been sharing their experiences as well, you know, so everyone knows what's going on. Everyone can see how you're benefiting from this. Even if you're, even if you participate quietly and you don't want people to know you're on and you don't want to join the conversation, and that's fine too. Just know that there are people out here who won't judge you. You know, I was telling Frank, I had a great time with my family. I really did. I had a good time on vacation. I haven't been with my entire family alone for that long in years. And it was wonderful to see them. But they don't understand this at all. The show.
Did they ask you about it? About anything about the show? About how you doing?
How the show went. It was our 100th show. While I'm wearing the FearLess t-shirt telling them about the 100th show, they still kind of don't get it. Or they're not interested, or they can't relate to it, or whatever it is. I don't fault them. I don't judge them. You know, I mean, it's the way it is. They love me. They just don't understand this. And, you know, and then I come home and I talk to Frank and I'm like, but how you know, why wouldn't you want to be a little more curious about this? People's lives are changing just by being able to share their stories back and forth. You know, everyone has a talent. Everyone is an artist. Everyone, you know, I mean, has a piece of this puzzle, and it's a beautiful thing.
And it's the coming together in that safe space. Right?
Mm-hmm.
we come clean, we come correct, we teach, we learn, and we pump out leaders, not just any kind of leader. I mean, you're talking about a leader that could just step into the realm and get to work. There's so many in our group that are like, oh, but I'm a newbie, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you've been here a couple months now, right? You've been rocking it since, the pyramid capstone thing and everything. I'm like, you're advanced and you don't even realize it. Think of when you walk around outside and you really see what's going on. Go to Walmart, go to Kmart, go to Costco, take a look around. In between the mothers and fathers and the kids, you'll see the others.
The energy and the entities.
And then you see the attitudes and
people.
It's almost like, oh, this is bad.
See, now, I told Frank he always has to put his protection on. And I think he forgets sometimes, or he thinks he's covered.
I think I'm going into a position, though, of official.
You are now, but you get zapped every time we go to BJ's or Costco. It's like a nightmare. Frank throws a fit.
And I don't want to live a nightmare no more. I don't want to be that guy.
And he doesn't want to be that guy.
That's the thing,
he doesn't want to be that guy at all. And then I'm like, did you put your protection on? And he's like, well, let me do it again. And then he'll do it again. And then everything will change.
All right, when we come back, we're going to keep this conversation moving forward, onward, upward. Your protection from deception. We have arrived in abundance. Thank you so much. I am wearefearless.com.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
That's right. The song is called Come Alive. Find it everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Like if you go into the bathroom, you won't find it. But if you have it in your playlist, you could play it while you're in the shower. Anyway, there's absolutely so much craziness happening. I know everybody wants to hear about. Is that somebody's radio? Welcome to the Bronx. Welcome to the Bronx. All right. Where you could run a radio show and then outside they're running their own radio show. So, yeah, I had a bit of an encounter this week.
Yes.
All right. People kind of were asking me to elaborate just a wee bit. So I find myself in between the week meditating, right? In the house, outside of the house, in the house, out the side. I got this golden tan. So I come in the house and I sit down and I start having this weird light feeling in my head. I get up, I get into the shower. I have the meditating songs blasting in the bathroom. And then I hear out loud, this is going to be open telepathic contact with your new connection. Like as if an operator was tuning me in to the call. And I said, well, that was loud and clear. Like I heard that loud. And they were like, are you ready? Here's the call. So I'm in the shower. I'm not in the shower no more. I'm standing in front of the sun. But the sun doesn't look as big as the sun would look if you were standing in front of it. I was pretty bigger. I was bigger, I think. But the sun blinked. And I had my hands in my pockets, like, what am I doing here? And I looked, and the sun looked like it turned into a portal, right? It turned black, and then out of the black came the energy, like twirling, colorful, rainbow energies pouring in as if the faucet was just turned on, right? And I looked, and there were beings flying in. And I mean, they looked like they were, like somebody shot the gun in the air and said, take your mark, go, and then shot the gun. And they just started pouring in. And I'm like, whoa, I think I know why I'm here. I'm going to stop this event from occurring and let them know they are now in my section of whatever. And they got to stop screwing around. No more reptilians, no more grays, no more this, no more that. And immediately, these beautiful beings, beautiful, floated. They're full-bodied. They were wearing robes, bald heads, light blue. Flew right up to me.
I think they were your ancestors.
So yeah, well, definitely.
Another place.
Okay, so they start giggling at me, like, "Hi, I'm your contact," and I said, "What?"
You described this to me when we first met. Exactly what you're describing now. You described to me.
So I say, "My, you're beautiful, but don't know who you are and what you're doing here." And she was like, and it was a she. She goes, "You don't." I go, "You're talking with your mouth." And she goes, "So are you." And I go, "Okay, check this out. You're really pretty. Thank you. Can I touch your hand?" "Oh, that's an odd request. Touching?" And then she smiled like really big, like, and I'm like, now, while this is happening, the energy is just still pouring in and beings are flying in just like her, all different kinds. All right, so I grab her arm, Spartacus style, and I'm like, I'm putting a sword through her. I don't trust any of this stuff. Everything's demonic until I get my hands on it and see for myself. And that was like the weirdest thing. My sword turned into like a curly thing and attached to her arm, and she grabbed me and was like, "Oh, that's fun." And then shot stuff back into me that made me laugh hysterical. I go, "I can't help it. This is awesome. Who are you? What do you want? But whatever it is, I want more of it." She said, "You have been asking for us the whole time, waiting." I go, "Yeah, I'm waiting for you. I don't wait for no one." They're like, "Your backup." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
You don't remember.
I go, "My backup." Mm-hmm. She goes, "You guys actually pulled it off." And when I mean you guys, I mean the planet. Right? I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Well, there's enough of you that anchored in the energy properly." "What do you mean it anchored it in properly?" "The energy could come when you guys are ready to handle it. Do you see how that works?" And the portal opened and let us in. So I'm like, well, this is amazing news. I see a Pleiadian light ship behind you. Somehow I know that that's a Pleiadian light ship. I see a Lyrian ship, and I don't know how I know that because I've never actually seen a Lyrian ship, nor have I ever seen a Lyrian flying a spaceship. Although I know that they're there, and I have met lion beings and cat beings. You're floating here with no need of oxygen, no need of anything. So you're a spirit, a ghost? What are you? She laughed and laughed and laughed. No spirits, no ghosts. The energy that's pouring in is the divine energy, the higher portal energy. You are meeting us at this halfway point. Like, I'll meet you halfway. It's as low as I can go without it being painful and sucky. Plain and simple. And you're like, well, I'm going to ground myself to 5D Earth, and I'm going to come up and meet you with my vibration. Well, you guys came up high enough and grounded and did your job collectively, and the sun's portal opened, and it allows this energy to now permeate in your space permanently. So I'm like, so you're a spirit? Like, and she's like, you're touching me. You're a spirit, but you're touching me. I'm like, ooh, interesting. And I go, and we are standing in the middle of space, aren't we? She's like, what do you think you're doing here? I said, I'm guarding. I don't know actually what I'm doing here. I'm here to watch, I think, or witness. She's like, you've been waiting for us. You were checking your watch, like, here it goes, 3, 2, 1, but you didn't realize it, so you thought we were demonic entities. And I started going, how do you know that? They're like, well, you always think that. And I'm like, what do you mean I always think that? I go, okay, that's it. I'm done trying to guess things with you. I need someone here with me right now to help discern the situation. Now, I'm laughing while this is going on because their energy is awesome. I'm like begging for more of it. Right. And one of the other beings flies up and goes, I want to see him. Is that him? And she goes, yep. And she flies up behind her and looks at me. And she just says, so he doesn't even know who he is yet? And she goes, I don't think so. And then they look at me and start laughing. And I go, why are you laughing at me? And what are you talking about? And you guys have 3 fingers. I had 3 fingers the other day in the meditation. I had to do these finger positions for the Kali meditation. And Kali actually came out and was like, oh, your arthritis hurts? I go, I have horrible knuckle arthritis, so crossing certain ways, like I can't do gang signs. That's a no-no, right?
Well, you wouldn't want to do
well,
that
some
anyway.
of the hand positions, like cross like this, it hurts to do 20 minutes like that. So she just said she did the arm movement, and it was like the hands opened like this. And I go, what is that? And it was so comfortable. And then the meditation opened and changed. And I'm like, I had 3 fingers the other day. And they're like, oh, so you want someone to come here to check us? So I go, yeah. And she goes, who? Your friend Jimmy? So I go, yeah, Shaman Jimmy. She goes, okay, he's right there. So I turn, and he's standing right there, and that Lyrian ship's over him, and it's him and his wife and his sister, and they're waving to me like, we're okay, but yes, this is happening. And I'm like, how are you there? So she goes, all right, no more guessing. Do you see the Arcturians? I see, oh, there's purple beings. Those are my beings. That's me. I go, I'm Arcturian. She was like, of course you are. I go, but I'm Pleiadian too. It's really weird. It's this long story. And she goes, you don't have to explain. Do you know who we are? And I'm like, I have no clue who you are, but you're really pretty. You're really tall and whatever. And she goes, we're Syrian from the Sirius star. Now, why don't you tell me the rest? I go, how'd you get here? And I go, obviously you came through a portal in the sun. She goes, go ahead. I go, Sirius, you came from the other sun. You came from the galactic central sun. You guys over there are like housing a different density. Go ahead. Yeah, I know you guys. Oh. And the portal opened because you guys did your job. And now we're here permanently. So I start going like, this is amazing. The energy's great. Boom, I'm back in the shower. So I'm like, hey, this is weird. That was a weird, I don't know how long that lasted, but the water feels great. I feel awesome. I go, man, that felt pretty real. That was weird, though. And then I hear her voice go, yeah, it was pretty weird, wasn't it? And she's standing right next to me.
Do you think this is why you take a long time in the shower?
Yeah, I meditate while I'm in the shower. I sing songs. You hear me all the time singing. So she's looking at me, and I go, well, this is awkward. You're actually standing there. And she goes, yeah, well, we're here. And I look up, and they're just pouring in energy, riding it like a wave. Like I talk about Silver Surfer rides energy. They're actually riding this they start pouring into the house. When I mean it was, they filled the place, and everyone grabbed something that was liquid and started blessing it, putting energy into it, if that's the better way to do it. But they touched the shower head, and the water pouring out was like hyper energized.
Wow.
From those moments on, okay. So she goes, you want to know my name? Right. Because you want to know everyone's name, right? Man who walks in all worlds. I was like, you know so much about me. How do you know all this about me? And she goes, my name.
They got the newsletter.
She goes, and you will have a hard time pronouncing it, so we're going to make it simple. So I go, okay. It's C-O, la, like la, 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 ra, R-A, or R-A-W, how it's raw, like whatever. So it's cola raw, right? So I go like cholera, and she goes, absolutely not like that. She goes, absolutely, that's disrespecting me on pretty much every level to think that I would even match that word. And I go, well, it just has similar. She goes, no, it doesn't. If you know what you're speaking, it doesn't. So I go, okay, I'm just kind of messing around. So she goes, I have more good news for you now that you know me and that I know you, right? And I said, oh, what's that? She goes, everyone that just came out of that portal is raw. Every single being that you're watching pour in, every single one has achieved Ra. Means you already did this. You already did the ascension once. You went through it somewhere or in multiple places to be called a master. You do it more than once. So now we're here at this step. And they're like, well, it's you. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. They're like, you know what we mean, right? And I'm like, holy shit, it's you guys. And they're like, yeah. But here's the good news. We're here all the time now, full time, all the time. Like what you were expecting is now happening. Mm-hmm. Okay, so did you notice the natural clouds all the time?
I did. I even said that on the drive home from the shore. I said, look at the fluffy, natural-looking clouds. They look like real clouds.
They told me the flat-bottom clouds are them. I saw natural clouds. I went to the post office. There was a low cloud, big low cloud. And I said, man, it's hot. And then I was talking, and I go, who am I talking to? And they're like, well, we're right here. You just asked if Kola Ra was here with you. And I'm right here. And I looked, and she was right on my left. So I'm like, oh. She goes, we're right here. I go, man, I can see you. It's just so the sun is shining so bright. It's so hot. I'm sweating. It'd be easier. And then I thought I walked under a tree, right? And it got shady, and I go, oh, and I felt the breeze. And I go, oh, thank you so much, nature.
Outside the other day.
And I look up, and it's the cloud just barely cutting it over the rooftops. And I go, what the? She goes, we're right here. There's no over there, dude. We're in the house. Like, if the party started, we're in the house at the party dancing with you now. You're one step literally away from full-time activation for what you're here for, your purpose, for your guidance, for your manifestations. Time is speeding up. Manifestations are happening faster. Things are changing. More and people want to lighten up.
These things are true. And I'm going to say this really quickly. Alexia, you will appreciate this. Where the way the living room is currently set up, my mic stand is pointing in a direction, and I'm looking at the tiger canvas that you bought for me. And Frank is sitting.
One of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Looking at the Silver Surfer canvas, and we didn't plan that. That's just how it worked out. We didn't. Yeah, I just noticed it now on air, and I said I should say something about it because we did not plan it this way, but it worked out beautifully. Hurry back.
So, you had a lot to say. So
I did say it. I said it fast.
All right. So we're at a new position now. My purpose has been to jack this information up and out. When I talked about me earlier and tonight, I'm showing you from the position of it's happening. Right? So it's not just happening to me. I can't tell you everyone's story. So I'm going from my perspective always. Right. So it sounds a little like, oh, Frank could do this. No. Yes, Frank can do it. Paula can do it. You can do it. This is about, all right. So if I'm an ascended master and you're an ascended master, right? There's a whole bunch of people here doing it for the first time, right? So I'm not better than you. I just did it first. And then I came back to help. That's it. Don't make it over grandiose. This is about I put it on. It's about refinding out who you are and having that gnosis. Now, how the hell are we supposed to do that? Well, we're going to do it. There's a whole group of us that are going to do it first. and we're going to figure our way out of the box. And we're doing it, though. See, we already got onto the good timeline. They were able to come in early. They were like, I was like, is this the Lion Gate portal? Is that what's happening? They were like, nope. And I go, what do you mean, no? They're like, Lionsgate this year doesn't happen until 8/8/8. And I was like, wait, whoa. And they're like, yeah, Leo, the lion guy. And they were just staring at me. And I'm going, what do you mean? They're like, we're here early to set up. No more interference on those levels. If you're here to do this and your purpose and you're activating, it's going to happen. No more waiting. But it's on you to do the work. This isn't like a lazy boys thing. If you're not putting in the work, it's a slow climb. And when things start popping off, it's going to be difficult for you physically because you're going to be like, I can't believe this is happening. Mentally, because you still can't believe this is happening. But it's still happening. But what's happening, Frank? I don't know. What's your perspective?
It's very subtle.
It's been happening the whole time, slow drip. They talk about the NWO turning up the pressure like the frog in the pot. It gets hot, but they can't just make it hot and then throw the frog in.
Yep.
They got to put the frog in and boil the water slowly till it's so high he passes out. We just kind of judo flipped that situation into our situation. We were like, no, NWO, we don't think so. You get in the pot. And they were like, we don't even understand what this place is. And then we just turned up the pressure the other way. Consciousness is back, bitches. We ain't even playing the game no more. Yeah, see, it really turns into this on that level, right? The party's about to begin. I know it's not a party for everyone. This isn't. All right, I got to watch what I say next, because when I say beings are here for their purpose and they signed up for this, people are going to mistake what I say when you go, well, there's people starving on the other side of the world. And when I say, well, you can manifest your way out, there's still layers in between, and everyone's in their own universe for their own reasons. Yes, we're going to try to make that 100% better. Karmically better, yes. But speaking now of the ones that are rising, if you're listening, you're doing it. I guarantee you're doing it. All right, if you listen to Ra right before me, if you listen to me and Paula and I, and then tune into Beyond the Veil up next, and then tune into Paranormal Portal, if you take any of those routes, you're definitely on that route. And if you're tuning into me, it's because you want to hear what's up. I know some of you are playing the fence. Yeah, well, if it pops off, I listen to Frank, so I got it. Or I heard it from Chris over here, so we're going to be in. No, you get your ass to work right now. Light workers work. Go to work. It's called light worker. It's not called to hang out and be lazier. Right? It's called light worker. Get to work. Ground. Start being awesome. You can pull it off now.
Be kind. Make a friend. Say something nice to someone.
Yeah, Paula, help me with the ethereutical translation, because they're like, Frank's flying off the rocker. He's starting to sound like.
Out. That's what you got to do. That's all it is. Shut your mouth. Mind your business when you're supposed to.
Yeah, do the right thing
do not
for
engage.
You, because you're better.
If it's not worth it for you, do not engage.
Yeah, like, who gives a shit? You got to care about you and get your act together and get up and get ready. I think I just scared Oscar.
You did.
My voice, sorry. It's when I connect, it just instantly goes out the window. But, all right, so it is time to rise. And together is how we're going to do it. And the information's there. If you've been listening, if you're a new listener, hey, listen, get a subscription. Check out the old episodes. Go on YouTube. You can listen to a whole bunch over there. And then for the last 25, you got to have the subscription for.
Yeah, and then you can listen to all the other.
And then you have every other host.
All the other hosts as well.
All right. We got something for everyone, right? When you tune into these different shows and it's a different consciousness, it all reattaches back on the other end, whether it's spirits looming or the rituals. It's all real. All of it. Get over it. It's all real. It's all happening at the same time as well.
I think that's the hardest part. If you can get through your head that it's all real.
Yeah, that's
that
real
means
too.
That
yes.
You have to take it all. You can't pick and choose, and you can't say you believe in Bigfoot, but you don't believe in the Smurfs. It can't be. You have to, it's all or nothing. It's all real. And I think once you get your head around that, I think the other stuff comes a lot easier.
All right. Here's an even easier thing to attach to that. Start thinking of yourself as the representative of the all. So the reason why any of these people talk about these beings and they see this and they see that, or they literally go with them and do things, or inner earth or whatever, it's because their DNA genetically attached to them. For you to be here in a human body, you have to have the all in you. So other than you NPCs listening, you're in. Sit. Activate. It's now time to go. What does go mean? It means go plant the garden.
But it is.
It means go feed the birds.
It's an activation.
Be nice to cat. Right.
It is.
It's an activation, right? The codes are in what you do and how your understanding of it goes off, right? When you say, yeah, I love you, or I love you, two different activations, right? One's not an activation. One's I love you.
I think some of it's DNA.
And the other is, yeah, but you have to have all of it in you to even be here.
Oh, agreed.
You just have more of one or the other, meaning your moral compass will be positioned towards what those characters are. So if you have more reptilian, you'll be less.
I agree.
Nice to people, perhaps. I don't know, and be more for the power of the wealth, of the power of the, and you don't know why people are like that. And then, they'll donate to causes, but they won't help a baby in the street. And you're like, what is that? Why is that compassion? Not that compassion isn't there, where somebody else will run into the street and risk getting murdered to help immediately. Well, there's a lot of different things going on here, but to be here in the suit means you have to have it all in the suit. So your flesh suit has the genetic library of the living library of planet Earth and the DNA of the stars and the universe. And just work your way up or all the way down. The choice is yours to believe what you want.
Awesome.
Right? Whatever resonates with you, take with it. Right? If you just want to help an old lady across the street, or you just want to be polite and not honk your horn like an animal, or you just want to be a little bit more respectful to your mother, or you might walk away one day from the enemy that could be because he said Trump and I'm not Trump. So, dude, just shut up. How about you remove the team and just go team all? How would the all look at that situation? How would the creator don't make mistakes? And you're the creator, by the way. Funny how this is going to turn out.
But that's a lot.
I'm holding the mirror for all of you right now. It's you. You're the creator. It's you. You're the magician. It's you. You're the creator.
You don't have to live a perfect life. You don't have to walk a straight line. This isn't about good or bad. It's not good or bad. You just do the lesson, what you feel in your heart, the compassion. If you could take the extra second or two to not be a dick, right? That's enough to start your day. That is so.
Right? Start small, but think big. And then when you can't think big, think bigger. Use your imagination. Your protection from deception every Saturday night. Stick around. Beyond the Veil's up next.
Don't be a dummy.
We're back, bitches.